People are like, I'm going to buy you a shot. I said, perfect. Let's run it up a tab.
Your menu is your chance to flex. So you be creative.
He was like, listen, if you can learn all of the cocktails that we have on our menu, you can bartend. I said, done.
You got to give people a reason to go out. You got to give people a reason to choose your venue.
What's next for you?
Whatever it is, it'll be somehow related to making sure people are having fun and getting f***ed up.
Yeah. Hello, how are you?
Hey, what is up?
Welcome to Sips and Secrets.
Pleasure. Happy to be here.
Awesome. I mean, you were the first guest that I've ever had that brought their own alcohol.
Well, I was taught that if someone's having you as a guest, you bring a gift. You know,
Okay.
I don't show up empty-handed anywhere.
I love that.
I feel like that's bad. That's bad manners.
Yeah. No, but I love that. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What is it exactly that you do?
So the last 4 years, I've worked in brand management for Conor McGregor and McGregor Sports Entertainment and Proximo Spirits on 2 different projects. Been working on Proper 12 Irish Whiskey, which is Conor's whiskey, which he then sold to Proximo. I stayed on board and I worked on the Proximo portfolio. And then now I'm transitioning into Conor's Forged Irish Stout. It's a new beer that, a stout style beer that he's launched. Kind of doing a relaunch in America, just kind of doing some things and just waiting on some stuff to come through on that. It's not available in Connecticut yet, but right now it's kind of in a holding pattern and just hopefully everything will come together on that soon. But yeah, I worked in brand management, but before that I spent 20 years. I've ran restaurants, nightclubs, strip clubs, like everything in the hospitality. I even did a brief stint in a high-end country club as food and beverage director just because I needed a break from nightlife, but like that was so not me that it was just like I was just like totally faking it till you make it kind of thing. But like I've been in this industry in one way or another my entire life. My dad owned restaurants growing up, and it's just this is like what I do. So when I was up here the other day with Brennan for Ian's, I was like, yo, for sure.
Yeah. No, I love when it comes together like that. And I was talking to someone about it the other day too. It's funny like that we're both in the same place because I mean a lot of people like after they get out of prison or they do like their little stints after they come out, one of the best places to work is a restaurant. I mean, I'm sure you've worked with people who have been formerly incarcerated and things like that.
Yo, if your prison staff, if your kitchen staff hasn't been to prison, dude, your food is probably not all that. Yeah. you need a couple of guys who know how to make a microwave make a grilled cheese on like a radiator if you like really want to have a kitchen that can do anything.
No, absolutely. And it's always so fun to like hear the stories too. Yeah. Like I remember being like 16, 17 when I had just started and like talking to these kitchen guys. I mean, like my family, like I didn't really have anyone in my family that like went through that. And I remember talking to them and they're just like, yeah, gang this. And then I'm like this little girl and I'm like, okay, like cool.
Yeah.
It wakes you up a little bit. No, but it's so cool. And like you get a different perspective, Well,
yeah, there's a lot of different ways. I mean, the hospitality industry overlaps everything. Like I don't care if it's the president, he's going to go have like a meeting over dinner somewhere, so like you find yourself in strange circles or, like I said, I was in the strip club business for a while and it was like, found myself in some crazy situations with some crazy people. I'm just trying to leave it at that, but it's more of an Ian podcast thing. But like, it's an interesting industry because everybody eats and everybody drinks.
Yeah, absolutely. That was like one of the first things that I heard when I wanted to make the transition over to like the distributor side is someone told me when people are happy, they drink, and when they're sad, they drink more.
Right. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And then so for me, like, working in the brand and marketing and stuff has kind of like really been my calling and what like I was always the best at when it came to running clubs and stuff was that end of it. But like I got to the point in my life where I was like, yo, I don't want to be in a bar every Friday and Saturday till 2 a.m. counting money till 3, 4. Like I still want to be in the industry. So like working on the brand side and working on product side allowed me to like be industry adjacent. Like, so like, yo, I could go throw and host a party at Shrine at Foxwoods. But yo, as soon as that 2 o'clock hits, I'm out the door, and these people that I just got drunk, that's your problem now. It's not my problem. I'm not cleaning anything. I'm going home, and then next Saturday I'm staying home watching TV. Like it's not like I don't have to be married to a particular place. So that allows me to do the things in nightlife and hospitality that I enjoy without having to like actually run and manage a restaurant or bar, which is such a thankless job that you have to love to actually do it.
Yeah, no, and I've had that conversation with people before too. It's one of those things where it's like, I mean, I never saw myself owning a place. I managed because
Yeah.
I thought that was the next step. Like
Yeah.
I had gone through serving, bussing, whatever. Like
Yeah.
I went through all the positions, so managing just seemed like this is next, right? And when I got to it, I was just like, dude, like I'm getting abused by everyone, everyone.
Yeah.
Like I have the staff being like, oh, I didn't get my time off, blah, 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 blah. And I have the kitchen being like, oh, why didn't you make the specials? This, like everyone, and
the
customers.
And then your owner, like
Yeah.
you're taking it all over the place.
Everyone. And then like at the end of the nights, like, yeah, what I've always said is like at the end of the nights when it's a slow night and you're making more than them, it's great. You're like, damn, thank God I'm making a steady paycheck. But then on the busy nights when I just got ass fucked with the rest of them, I'm making nothing. I'm making pennies compared to them.
Right. And that's the balance. That's what you got to figure out. But then it's also like time off, right? So if you're a bartender making $500 on a Friday and you want to go do something on a Friday, like you probably don't even have paid time off. Never mind, like that's just your hourly. Like you lose $500 on top of whatever you're gonna spend to go out. Where then you're on salary, you can actually take time off. Like there's pros and cons to both. Like, if you can be so lucky as to find yourself in like a working bar manager position, that's like the most swag job you can possibly have, where you have like a solid salary, but then you have like 2 shifts a week where you still like can cake up. That's like ideal. It's funny because like to me, my dad owned restaurants, like pizza restaurants my whole life, right? So I grew up, I don't know, 12, 14 years old, like greasing pans, washing dishes, cooking, whatever. And I remember fighting with him as a teenager, like, I'm never gonna do this,
And then, here you are. That was probably funny for him too, like one of those parent moments.
I've never had that conversation with him, but it's like because we would fight, and because I was just like a degenerate of a teenager, but I still had to go work at the restaurant on Saturdays, and we would fight, and like I just, I'm never gonna ever do this, and then I find myself like luckily I found like I don't have a passion for the restaurant industry per se as much as I do the bar industry, but it's the same, like work wise, it's the same thing. But you know what I mean? I just found my own little niche in there that I really enjoy.
Did you ever serve?
So I've never had either. I owned a bar before ever having a bartending or a serving job.
Wow.
Yeah. I came from my first real job out of high school. Like I had a lot of jobs right out of high school, but the one I stuck with, I was a security officer at Foxwoods, right? But at the time they had this nightclub. It was called the Cinedrome 360. It kind of looked like Epcot Center. Like I was thinking about this on my way up, and I can't even find evidence of this on the internet, but I promise it existed. And it was this really cool nightclub. And like most of the guys who did Foxwoods security were like 60, 70-year-old guys. And I was like 18 and they wanted nothing to do. I'm like, yo, throw me in the club. Like, yeah, dude. Like, so, and then I just kind of I was like watching the pieces move, and I fell in love with the industry from a security, like from just watching it, you know what I mean, by being in there. And yeah, I owned my first bar at 24, and I had never even worked in one before, but like it's just kind of how it all came together.
Wow.
I kind of do like, just not to like take over and spiral away off control, but I was thinking about this on my way up here, right? And this isn't anything conversation I've ever really had with anybody, but outside of working for my dad, like my first job where I like got hired at was I worked at McDonald's, right? I was 16, but I walked in. And they can just throw it, like I just applied for a job and they could have thrown me in the kitchen, but they didn't. They threw me on the register and like they were like, oh, this kid's really good. And then they put me on birthday parties and I started getting tipped, and like, they would throw you 20, 40 bucks at the end of a birthday party. And I was like, what? Like I had my little Mick job and I was content with my little minimum wage. And now I got cash coming in and I actually don't have to stand on this register. Like, and it kind of really molded how I looked at the hospitality industry, where like, the flip of a coin, that day I walked in, they could have been like, oh, hey, go on the grill. And maybe like a million things changed in my life, but now I've traveled the country and, and to Dublin twice a year and like Mexico and do all these cool things. And I kind of look at it as like the butterfly effect off of that day I walked into McDonald's and the manager was like, "Oh yeah, you're going front of the house." You know,
Yeah.
like
But I think that's very much like a mindset thing too, you know? I think that a lot of people are put in these situations. Like I couldn't tell you how many people I've worked with throughout the years that at the end of the day, they're still serving and bartending.
yeah,
And there's nothing wrong with that, you know? Some people choose that because it does allow for the flexibility. It does allow for like, yeah, it sucks when you miss a day, but if you work an extra day the next week, you can probably make up for it, you know?
yeah,
It allows for that kind of flexibility. But there's some people that don't look at it like, how can I level this up? And you are one of those people like, how can I do this more?
yeah.
I mean, 24 years old, you're so young, owning a bar.
Well, and what that kind of spawned out of is like after high school, me and a couple of my friends got really known for throwing like parties, like started like house parties. And then by one point we were banned from like every hotel in Southeastern Connecticut. We throwing hotel parties, but like we would pack them out, and I was like, wow, like somehow the conversation of like I can make money doing this,
Mhm.
you know. So there was this bar. It's like super like when I say dive bar, it's not that's not even the right word. I mean, this place is disgusting. Like, and it was just like notoriously gross. And me and my boy were driving by one day. There was a for sale sign in the window. He's like, "We should buy that place." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." So we stopped in, and the guy was like, "Yeah, my dad owned this place for a million years." He's like, "I want nothing to do with it." He's like, "You guys can have it if you pay rent." Like, so we just got it for free. Yeah, and then we like both took out loans and we like fixed the place up, and then we just jumped into it. And like the unfortunate part is like I didn't like it was in this really bad area of town, and it was this really grimy spot, and then all of a sudden I had it packed with like I'd love to say college kids, but like 18 to like plus whatever. And like oh, we had a good night. The bar made $5,000, so I was like, oh, I have $5,000, and then I would
Yeah.
go play blackjack and like ball out, and then the freezer would break and I had no money to fix. Like I just didn't know about business, but like it was a little dip into like what could be, you
Yeah.
know.
No, but that's awesome. I mean, like at 24 years old, that's not what I was thinking about, you know? So it's really cool that you had that mindset of like, let's
Well,
do this, you
well, it's
know?
more like how can I have a job but not actually work?
Yeah.
You know, like
But that's the right way to think, right?
yeah,
Make your money work for you.
yeah,
I don't know. I think that that's fucking cool.
yeah. To me, that was like my. I worked 4 years at Foxwoods right out of high school, and that was like my college. And then like my first bar was called the Green Room, and it was in Norwich, Connecticut, and that was my master's. Like that's where I failed really hard, but I learned so much within the failure of that. You
How long
know,
were you guys open?
less than 2 years, like just under 2 years.
I mean, you guys passed the year mark.
Yeah, and I mean, it could have done better. It just was like I had no idea what I was doing business wise. I just knew how to get people to go there, you
Yeah.
know. And then like it just became really sloppy, and you know, it was just this weird, funny like dynamic where it's like I don't want to say like the hood, but like in this really shitty neighborhood with like full of crackheads. Then you have like all these young 21-year-old college kids coming in, and then like I thought the police department in my head, right? I'm like, yo, they're gonna love me because this place is like so gross, and I'm gonna do this cool things. But it was quiet. Like now all of a sudden, like you have like crackheads getting flatlined in the street by frat boys, you know, and they're like the cops are there like all the time, and they're like, yo, you got to shut this shit down. I'm like, no, you guys used to have people selling heroin here and hookers giving blowjobs in the bathroom. Like I have a nice place now. Like it's just this, and they're like, yeah, but now we got to do paperwork, you know.
Yeah.
So it was like a thing.
Dude, that's freaking crazy
Yeah.
though. Did anything go in there after you guys?
It was like two different places. It's been empty a million years now.
Damn.
Yeah, I drove like I live like 15 minutes from there, but it's like a annoying 15 minutes. So I don't ever go over there. But I was over that way recently. I parked and I kind of peeked in the window and stuff, and you know, it's like like it's just desolate. But like once upon a time, it was popping.
Yeah. And it's always, I feel like everyone who like went through that like bar scene or whatever needs an experience of a bar like that, like going there, working there or something like that. Like we had one of those here too. And I remember going there till I was like 22, 23. And then I'm like, all right, maybe I'm too old for this place, you know?
Yeah, well, it's like, all right, this is the worst case scenario if something can work. And if this can work and it's horrible, what can a good place do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I had no idea what I was doing. And this place is packed to the gills and we're filling the cash register up for a short period of time anyway. It's like, with no clue. Well, a liquor cost? What's a liquor cost? Dude, I have no idea, you know, like.
What did your parents say after you opened that place?
They didn't know what I was doing. Like I remember leaving my mom, like I still lived at home, and I was like, remember leaving my mom notes on the kitchen table, like, oh, I made like so much money. And I think they were really they knew I didn't know what I was doing, and they also knew that like I was like such a wild mother. Can I swear, dude?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, I was like 17 to 25-year-old me. I was like such a degenerate, wild motherfucker that like I just think they were like, "Oh, this is bad news." Like no, like one way or the other, this is gonna be bad news. I feel like that's probably how they looked at it. Are you drunk already, Letitia?
Drunk.
but but it did kind of springboard a lot of things, and I think I've atoned for my sins a little bit.
What came after the bar?
Strip club.
Nice. Your own?
No, so
Oh.
yo, you want to hear a wild story?
Yes,
You want to hear like a
please.
wild? This is like an Ian Bix story, but you want to hear it?
Tell me.
All right. So I'm not gonna use any names. So I had a kid came to my school sophomore year, and we hit it off like right away, right? And he used to always talk about how his dad was in the mafia and shit, and like we're like, yeah, like it didn't mean anything to me because like I didn't even know what that was. Like when I was in high school, like we used to watch like fucking like Menace to Society and Boys. We all wanted to be like gangsters, dude. Like we didn't like thugs. We didn't know like the mob. I had no idea what it was. And it's still even like into my like this was like one of my really close friends. And like once we turned 18, we used to be able to go to clubs in Providence, and we'd just be like, "Yo, this is blah blah blah's son," and they'd be like, "Take care of us." And then I was started to see like, "Oh, this is kind of cool, whatever." And then so I kind of ran my bar like that. Like at that point, like I was kind of like trying to gangster it out. I was trying to pay off cops. I had one cop who would take money, but the rest of us looked at me like I was an asshole. Yeah, I thought it would be like this really cool thing. But whatever. So then there was a strip club by me, and it was owned by a casino manager from Foxwoods. I can't believe I'm gonna tell the story, but like no names. It's been such a long time. So this guy gets in debt to the mafia in Providence through sports betting, and they take his strip club, right? So all of a sudden, my boy is like, "Yo, my dad owns a strip club now." So we would like hang out in this strip club, and the guy who like owned it was there, but he was like running scared, like a prisoner in his own place, and like it was just like really wild. So we would the strip club had two sides to it. It was like a building, like one side was a pool hall, one side was a strip club. And they let us start throwing parties on the pool hall side. Like we would just like pack it with our friends, and we got to keep the door. They kept the bar, and we got to start doing some cool stuff. And then like we would start recruiting girls for like amateur night from like the mall and gas stations. Like, "Oh, you're pretty. Like, you should come do this," and like whatever. But I had my bar at the same time. And then when my bar closed, they brought me in to come work at this strip club. But it was like crazy because I worked for the strip club. I really worked for my friend's dad, who like it was just like this really weird dynamic because a big conglomerate ended up buying the strip club, but the original mob guys owned the building, so they kept my friend's dad there like as a manager in case they defaulted on this loan. And then he had me there with him as his guy. It was like this really crazy time in my life. But strip club, I did like 7 years in the strip club business, so like it's a nightmare. It's the worst industry of all time.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just
Why?
because you're dealing with the worst of the worst all the time. Like your girl who's like stripping her way through college is like one in a million. They're usually heroin addicts who just need money really fast.
Yeah.
And like your customer who's like, like the boys are going out for a bachelor party, one in a million. They're usually sex offenders and like really gnarly dudes who are there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Monday in mesh shorts while some heroin addict grinds on their lap till they bust in their pants. Like it's a like I mean, I'm sure if you work in Vegas or whatever, there's like really cool clubs, but like any club in Connecticut, in Rhode Island, in New York, like all these clubs, dude, they're just all full of drug addicts and sex offenders, and they're cash cows. But
Yeah.
it's just like the worst of the worst. Like everyone's running game on you all the time. Like the girls, like they're trying to like whatever they're trying to do, it's not what you're trying to get them to do. And like so they're running game on you. The customers, like everyone's just trying to fucking like manipulate you all the fucking time. It's
Yeah.
great. Like it's really cool for like 5 minutes. And then it's like, yeah, your
Then you're
boys are
like-
like, "Oh, you got the coolest job. You manage a strip club." And I'm like, "No, dude." Like
Not
and then it's like the transformation. Like a girl will come in, and like I use this as a story, and I tell people, like, I remember this girl came in and she worked at Bank of America in Providence, and she came down to Connecticut to work at this club. And she was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. This isn't me, blah, 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 blah. She's outside crying her first night. And then, like, I still have her on Instagram, and I see her all the time, like, on yachts with old guys in Miami and shit. Like, that
You made it out of here, girl.
That changed, dude. Or, like, the girl would come in and she'd be like, I'm like, "What do you do now?" Like, "Oh, I work at Target. I make, like, $400 a week, whatever the fuck like, all right, cool. Like, well, they come in and they make like $200 in one night, and they're like, oh my god, then they make like $400 in a night, and they're like, that used to be my whole week's salary. And then once they get good and they get customer base, they make like $1,000 in a night, $2,000 in a night. And then like 3 months later, like the same girl will be in my office like, this club sucks. I only made $700 tonight. Fuck you and fuck this club. And I'm like, I remember just 3 weeks ago when you used to work 40 hours a week at Target for $400. But okay, it's just like such a mental mind fuck all the time.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't even fucking imagine.
But we had some fun times. But it's not fun in the way people would think it was fun. Like it's like the last thing you want to do as a manager is be dating or hook up with a stripper, because then they have you. And then they're going to come to work late, or they're going to leave early, or they're not going to want to do this or want to do that. And then you have 20 other strippers like, why does she get to do this? Like, so it's not fun like that. Like people think like, oh, you must get laid all the time. Like, no, you don't ever want to do that. Yeah. But it's a cool industry. Like, I remember like one time we had like a bunch of executives from MTV come in and buy the place out. They spent like $500,000 in one night, and it was like we're like writing checks to these girls because we don't even have cash like to cover what So it's a cool industry, but like it'll take your soul. And then like also you're like, my grandmother's like, oh, what are you doing for work now? I work in this restaurant, but it's like 4 hours away. You don't want to come.
No, and I've always thought about that too. Like I had friends that like were bartenders at strip clubs. I don't think, or actually I've met like a couple strippers before too, but like not current, I guess. But I remember like talking to like bartenders and stuff that worked in strip clubs, and they were like, dude, it's like stupid money. Yeah. Like you should do it. And it was just one of those things where like, I guess the title kind of scared me a little bit. I'm just like, damn, like, am I going to tell my mom that I'm a bartender at a strip club?
For sure. But I tell people, because I know people have told me that too. And I'm like, you don't want to go do that, because like you're still dealing with the same like real creepy guy. All they're going to tell you, you're so much hotter than the strippers. But then like the strippers, there's like always like a weird little thing, or like they can be cool and shit, but they might look at the bartender as like, oh, you think you're better than me, whatever. So they're gonna like act like they're your boys, like I say your boys, but like they're acting your friends, and like, let's do shots, blah blah blah, and try to get you to strip, even if it's just for the like, yo, you should just get up. There's nobody here. Get up on the stage. That way they feel like they have one on you. There's like always like devious like things going on, and then they're like, oh yeah, she's one of us, like she's not really a bartender. She, they tell all the customers that like, oh, if you give her money, but then like. Dude, am I going off too much on strip club shit? I know that's not really...
No, I don't give a fuck. I want to have a stripper on so bad.
So, well, here's the thing too, right? So, let's say you're like a single mother and you're doing this, right? Like, and like, this is what you're doing to survive, to pay for your kid, whatever. And then some guy comes in and you're just a stripper. You're like a clean, like just like I do my job stripper. And some guy comes in and offers you like $30,000 to have sex with him. And that's like fucking maybe like 2 months salary for you or something, and you got a kid at home and you got a fucking Percocet addiction, and it's like, fuck. But like once you do that once, then next time maybe it's 10,000. Maybe next thing you know, it's $20. You know what I mean? It's like, but like when you're like so desperate that you're doing a job like that, and then the people are throwing money at you, and it like, so these people will come into work, and then even if they're not drug addicts or alcoholics, they feel guilty or bad or whatever, so they like, oh, I gotta have a drink to go on stage. And next thing you know, dude, it's just like it's a sad business to be around. That's why I tell people it's taxing on your soul to do that job.
Yeah, I mean it's a slippery slope, right? Like you start big and then it gets the line gets thinner.
Once you do anything like that's like outside of your moral compass, like whatever that is, where I don't really have, but like like, but whatever it is, like they say like if you cheat on your boyfriend, dude, the first time you do it, it's a big deal.
And then it gets a little bit easier,
like with anything, you know what I mean? So like now put yourself as not you, but a person who is in a really desperate position, and somebody's throwing life, like literally. You can be in a spot where you're living in a lot of these girls like live in like a hotel, and they have nothing, and all like $10,000 for them is life-changing money. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, what would you do to change your life or for your kid? Like it just gets really gnarly. It's like it gets really dark, and like that weighed on me, like that. It became a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you always kind of take, like, in a management position, you always kind of take everyone's burdens. I mean, like, what I realized, too, and I think that maybe it was because that, like, I worked at one restaurant. It's the only restaurant I've ever worked, but I grew up there, right? Yep. So I bussed there, I hosted there, I served there, I bartended there, and then I managed. And so I grew up with these people, like I became such good friends with them, like whatever. Their problems ultimately became my problems. Right. But then it's 20 people's problems and my problems. Right. So now I'm just in a mind fucked.
Right. You're managing a restaurant and this girl's boyfriend just broke up with her 5 minutes before a shift. So she's a fucking mess, dude. You know, this dude went out partying too much. He's hungover, like whatever, like all these different things that become your problem all the time as the managing, you know, anything in the hospitality. And I'm sure managing anything, but I think that like if you're managing a law office, is your problem's probably a little less gnarly than like managing a nightclub or a strip club or just a regular bar. But yeah, like that's what you absorb and you take that home, you know, like all, and then like for me at least, and at least, you know, I saw it when my father ran restaurants, where I actually cared. So like I have this waitress comes in. This is like it's us versus them all the time. Even if they're wrong and the customer is right, fuck the customer. I'm not really, the customer's always right. It's fuck the customer. I might handle you later, but I'm going to stick with you in what you've done. I mean, obviously I'm going to do my best to make it right if they did fuck up. But like, I'll never bury my employee to a customer. But like, I care if my like someone who works for me for 3 years comes in and they're devastated because they just fucking found something out this morning about whatever in their personal life. Now they're coming in, but it's like, on the one hand, like, yo, I need you to check that shit at the door. Like I was listening to your last podcast, right? And when Maddie's like, yo, you gotta, like, I don't care if you're having a bad day. I'm here paying for a service. And that's legit. Like, you know, like people have an expectation. They don't care about your problems. And as your boss, I can't either, but you're also become my friend because I've worked with you for 5 years. So I care. And it's just like this weird line of that, you know? Like,
yeah. And so someone sent me a book one time. It was called The Customer's Wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like just a book of quotes that customers say all the time. But at the end of the day, like, and I agree with you, right? Like I knew these people. I grew up with these people. I like worked with them for so long. And like, we were talking about the problems become my problems and stuff. And like half of the time customers would be saying something. And I realized like what I was doing a lot of the time is like yes manning them until they stopped. Like I was just like, okay, yeah, whatever you think. Sure. Yeah, cool. Yeah. You want me to comp this? Okay, goodbye.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing too. Like it becomes easy just to comp shit to get people out of your face, you know? But like the customer's always right. It's more of a retail thing. I don't think that was ever meant for hospital because people will just take that and run with it. They'll eat the whole fucking steak and be like, oh, this was terrible. I went off my bill. Like, what was terrible, dude? There's nothing there. You know?
Did you try to eat the plate after? Like, what are you fucking talking about?
So, you know, like, obviously you have to take care of the customer, but like, I've always felt fiercely loyal to my staff. Like that, like I would never, like they'd have to do some real shit for me to be like, yeah, they fucked up and I'm sorry. I'd be like, oh, this is all, like, you know, I'm taking care of it. Like, it was the kitchen or whatever, you know, like I won't bury my staff. You know, I feel very protective of them because I would always expect a lot from them when I was doing that, you know?
Yeah. What do you think kept you in it for so long?
I do have a passion for it. Like I liked being successful at it. So like my last real hurrah, I think a lot of people in my area knew me before my job was like I had this bar. It was a waterfront seasonal bar. And when I took it over, it was like this dive, like kind of like a biker bar. And then I turned it into essentially, I don't want to call it a nightclub because it was like a dive, but it was, you know, 2 floors, 2 DJs, 400 or 500 people. Like I turned it into this really gnarly place. And I loved like I say I was a degenerate, right? Like if 25-year-old me was running that place, like I probably wouldn't have stealing money, right? But like it meant, and I could have easily stolen money from this place, but I wouldn't because it meant more for me to put on paper like the numbers I was doing. Let me show you like how many people came through the door. Let me show you what this bar ring can look like, you know? So like it was just, I took pride in accomplishing and doing things that people didn't expect to be done, you know? And I really do enjoy, like, yo, it's like a table comes in and they have a meal and it's like, seeing people propose and like, you get these moments and like, I love the industry, but I was like also like missing like so much of my life outside of that because it takes so much of you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to my mom yesterday. It was Easter, but I was talking to my mom yesterday, and I was like, it's funny, like, this is my first time in 10 years spending the holidays with you guys.
Yeah.
it's crazy how long, like how fast it passes, and you like blink and it's over, and it's like, okay, whatever, I'll go to the next one. I'll go to the next one. I'll go to the next one. I've missed birthdays, holidays,
Yeah.
everything. These memorable, like these special moments
Right.
in your life, and it just passes by so fast. But it's that comfort, right? Like that I know how much I'm making at the end of the day, and if I don't, I'll make up for it, and I'm happy here. You know, it's fun in the moment.
Yeah.
And it's that, I don't know, that instant gratification that everyone's
Right,
chasing.
right. And it's like these series of moments that are awesome, but then you look back at it and it's like, what did this take from me though?
Yeah.
You know, at what cost? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Where did the transition happen from, I guess, the in the house to
So a lot of it came out of COVID.
okay.
So I had this this bar that I was telling you about that I was running. And then I also bought another bar at the same time, right? So I opened this bar. Our opening date, I saw my Facebook memories recently, dude, was February 15th of 2020. 3 weeks later, the fucking world shuts down. And I put like everything, all the money, everything I had in the world, like that from just into this place, and then to lose it basically 3 weeks later. Like this place was just a bar. We weren't doing food. Like we did minimal food, but we like tried to then stay open during COVID, like doing DoorDashing food, but like it was whatever. So like that like took a lot out of me because I was like, you know, I'd run this place for 8 years, and the owner, excuse me, had made me a partner, kind of a name only. He gave me 10%, and it was cool. So but I took that and parlayed it into my own place again. And then just to have it ripped away from me like that, like I kind of lost all my interest in doing anything. So like I said, the place I was running I was running the place still at the same time as I owned this place. So the place I owned closed that down like maybe like May or June of 2020 after a few months of trying to stay open, like with COVID restrictions. After being told, like, oh, 2 more weeks it'll open, 2 more weeks it'll open, blah, 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 blah. And then I got through the season at my seasonal place, and I was like, yo, I just don't want to do this anymore. Like, and then there was like this high-end country club by me in Stonington, Connecticut, a private club, and they had always like sublet out their food and beverage operations, and they were looking to do their own. And a liquor rep who I worked with was like, yo, I know the guy that you should bring in. And I went and did that for a couple of years, like for 2 years, just trying to find myself and like what was next for me. And it was cool. That was kind of like a 9 to 5. It was easy, like whatever, but it wasn't for me. Like country club people, like I'm white, but like that kind of white, you know, like it's just like that. They weren't my people, but it was just easy. I could have done it in my sleep, and they paid me pretty well for the industry, whatever. But for a long time, I had thought about the brand side of it. So I had met Conor McGregor through the fight world. So I used to fight. I had a few boxing fights, and just trained in the gym. You know, I've been Brennan, who just on the upcoming Ian Big podcast, Brennan Ward. I was on, you know, I'm on his team, and I was one of his coaches, trainers, partners, whatever. And the fight world is really small, and I ended up connecting with Conor in Boston, like before he was even real famous, and we became Facebook friends and kind of stayed in touch. 2018, he launches this whiskey, Proper Number 12 Irish whiskey. So I start immediately. I'm like sending messages to everybody, like, yo, I'd like to kind of like, I think I could do some stuff with this, and like I know how to whatever. And then finally in 2023, somebody reached out to me from his team, and they're like, hey, you still interested in coming on? We're looking for this position. It's a nationwide ambassador. You know, and it ended up being 3,000 people applied for this job, and I don't think I got it because I knew Conor. Like I had to go through a lot of stuff to get it, whatever. But yeah, and that was just it. And I got this national ambassador position, and kind of the chain of that has been like, so I had that, and then they're like, hey, do you want to work in market on the brand? And I'm like, cool, yeah. And then they're like, hey, we're gonna add on a couple more brands that this company that Connor's partnered with on. It was Three Olives Vodka and Kraken Rum. They're like, can you work with them as well? I was like, yeah, sure. And then Connor totally sold out of the Proper whiskey, and they're like, hey, can you take on the whole Proximo portfolio? So that was this Cuervo, that's 400 Conejos, Mezcal. The brand I really like is Dobel Tequila. Um, yeah, Gran Centenario, 1800. So it was like I had to go to Mexico for tequila training, which was like, so again, this is like really cool. And then they added in Bushmill, so they brought me to. I go to Ireland all the time. My grandparents on both sides are from Ireland, whatever. But like, they paid for me to go, and I went in like really in depth whiskey training at the Bushmills distillery, and like so they're flying me all over the world to learn about these brands from Ireland to Mexico and then throughout the country, and getting to do all this cool stuff. But then Conor comes out with his stout, and I'm like, yo, like fuck it, dude. Like Conor, I only got in this business, like I wanted to rock with you anyway. And like me and him are really cool at this point. So he's like, so like his people were like, we don't want to like rip you out of Proximo. Like that'd be kind of weird. Like, we're partners and now we're not, and you're still there. Long story long. End of the year, Proximo decides that they're kind of killing the Proper 12 brand, and they lay me off. So Conor and the Forged Out team are like, hey, we're bringing you on. So I'm just kind of waiting for that to like really. There's like a lot of moving pieces. So I'm just kind of chilling right now. So which I will lead into. In the meantime, in one of Conor's distributor partners in Europe for Forged Out, this really cool guy, Gabriel, who I've met a few times. He has a bunch of brands. One of them is this tequila with Tristan Tate. Tristan Tate is whatever. Like, you may like him, you may not. But they sent me this bottle of Talisman tequila. You ready for this, dude?
Absolutely.
Look at
Oh, shit.
the bottle, dude.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, we've got the strobe. We've got this, and then we got a slower one, and we've got the solid. I haven't tried this yet, but this is Talisman Añejo tequila. Do you know what makes a tequila Añejo?
The aging process, right?
Yes.
9 months, is it?
Anything over like 2 months to a year.
Okay.
The repo is like usually up to 2 to 4 months, and then the Añejo is anything after that, and then you would have an extra Añejo. But you and I, let's try. They wanted me to try this.
Okay.
I told him I was, interested in hearing what he had to say about the brand. And, probably the most genuine thing I was like, reached out to this guy. I'm like, hey, what do you got going on with this brand? Because he's got a few different tequila brands. And he's like, before we go any further, I want you to taste it. Which is like, says a lot about a brand from like, before we talk business, I want you to taste the liquid. So
yeah.
They sent me this from Jalisco.
And we were talking about it before, just to kind of bring it up too. I feel like when I was doing like the buying side of the restaurant, it's funny because, of course, a bunch of brands will come up to you and they're like, okay, we want you to carry our stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but like your bottle looks exactly like Cheetos. Like it's just not going to look good on my top bar. And they're like, when things come out like this, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
Well,
Bring it.
like Clase Azul, right? Like that's just the bottle looks because everyone like is like, oh, what's that? Like now people know what it is, but when it came out, it was this ridiculous bottle, and people were like, what is this?
No, I have bottles at home that I will never drink. I don't like them, but the bottle's beautiful. But I hope these are good. I'm excited to try.
So I figured this was the best way to try this. Would be on the Secrets and Sips podcast.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, it smells good. Oh, that's easy.
Dude.
That is
delicious.
Easy. So like I like an Añejo because we were talking about this off camera, right? So when I went to Mexico, I was at the Dobel distillery, and we're trying all this different stuff. And tequila was, obviously I'd had tequila, but I had no shit about tequila. And we got the Añejo, and I was like, oh, I really like this. So like, yeah, of course you do. You're the whiskey guy because Añejo tequila spends so much time in a whiskey barrel. Mm-hmm. That's what this is an Añejo.
That's actually really good.
That was really good. Really easy.
Yeah.
That was solid.
No, and you know what? Like, it's so funny because, when I was younger, I could take shots galore.
Yeah.
Especially, like, when you're bartending and, like, people are like, I'm going to buy you a shot. I said, perfect. Let's run it up a tab. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
So I'm taking shot after shot. And then after I kind of got out of that space, taking shots is so hard for me now. That was, like, the smoothest shot I've taken in such a long time.
That was super easy.
Yeah,
that was
loved that.
Super easy.
But I bought
and I'm not just saying that. I'm just saying, like, that was legitimately easy. But,
that's not in Connecticut yet, though, right?
I don't know where it's at, honestly. I don't even know if it's available in the States yet.
Ooh, we got that exclusive.
Yeah, that's how I roll, dude.
I love that.
That's how you roll. So,
yeah.
Gang.
No, but you know what's so funny too? So like we were talking about it off camera as well, where like I worked majority of my portfolio was whiskey.
Yep.
So I had never really liked whiskey. Like it's not that I didn't like it. I think that whiskey is one of those things. It's an acquired taste, right? Especially like for some of them. But I worked really heavily with the Sazerac brand.
Okay.
So that's all like the major players, right? Like Blanton's and Eagle Rare and Buffalo Trace, all those like big guys. And when I had just started, I was like, no, it's vodka or tequila and that's it.
Yeah.
Like at that time too, I had just turned 21, but I was drinking like Malibu Bay Breezes like they were freaking water. It was
Yeah.
crazy. So then I get exposed to this world where I'm like meeting people from different brands and like, oh, this is an Irish whiskey. This is why it's an Irish whiskey. This is a bourbon. This is why it's a bourbon. This is a rye. This is why it's a rye. And it was so cool to me because you see all these like similarities in different things. Like you were talking about the bourbon barrels for tequila.
Yeah.
You taste the difference. It's crazy.
Right. And that's like when you take the I say like the shock, but like the taste of a new spirit that you're not used to drinking, right? Like your spirits are harsh no matter what. Like, but like you become accustomed to certain things and like they taste certain ways. Then you learn the complexity and you learn like even when you learn the history of brands, it makes it a little bit more interesting or like what goes into it. Like I really fell in love with tequila when I was in Mexico, right? Like I was watching, these agave farmers. Like this guy worked in this agave field, right? And he was like, I've never felt so emasculated in my life, right? This dude was probably 70, gold teeth, huge belt buckle, machete, cowboy hat. And he's just like, nah, 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 nah. And he's been doing it. And his dad was doing it. His dad's dad was doing it. And it's like, they just come and it like fucking supplies, with Cuervo, like they pay for the Wi-Fi for the whole city because it's like, it's so ingrained in it. And it was super interesting. So it just made the liquid more interesting to me, knowing the backstory of the progression of like tequila was originally like a wine and then it became mezcal and then it went its own way. But like mezcal, like 'cause the cooking process of tequila was originally more smoky. So that was tequila. It's just, I don't know. And then you taste things. And it's more than just the initial taste of the sweet drink. It's like, oh no, I'm getting this, I'm getting that. And I'm not great at it. Like people will be like, sip wine or even tequila. Like, oh, are you getting notes of this? I'm like, no, it tastes like tequila. But like,
and they're like, this is red fruit. I'm like, what the hell is red fruit?
Right. But like you start to get the complexity of the flavors, at least for me. It's like, all right, well, this flavor of tequila, even though I might not necessarily identify the specific taste bud of it, like I know that this flavor works well with this when making a really cool cocktail. Like, 'cause I do like cool fucking cocktails.
Yeah, so I was telling you before too, I worked at a craft cocktail bar. So that's where I started. When I started serving, I originally didn't want to serve. I was like, no, I want to go straight into the bar. I think that my personality would do better there.
Yeah.
And my boss is like, you're 18. Like, you're going to serve first. You're going to learn, like, what it is to get a customer in, happy, and out. Like, you have to learn that first. And, like, honestly, super grateful for it. But once he basically gave me, like, I don't want to say the ultimatum, but he was like, listen, if you can learn all of the cocktails that we have on our menu, like the counts, you can bartend. I said, done. And like you started doing like your research, like why did they put this with this and this? Like why, right? And I'll never forget like I had been bartending for like 2 years. My first cocktail competition, I placed second.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what the hell? Like, I didn't think you were going to win. I said, I didn't think I was going to win. Are you kidding? But it's like that passion for it, right? Like you learn why it works and you put it together. Like I always said that my mom is the chef in the family. Like she cooks amazing, whatever.
What nationality are you?
I'm Brazilian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That not a lot of people guess that.
No, I would have. Obrigado.
Yeah. But like I always said that like my mom's like the chef of the family. Like she always cooks for all the holidays and like whatever. And like whatever attribute that she had like for flavor profiling, whatever I got, but I just translated to the bar side. And that's been like, I guess.
But really, like I was saying about my dad, he ran own restaurants, and then I was like, yo, I'm never gonna do this. But then I found my own tweak in it,
Yeah.
But then like I find myself, and I'm sure you do too. Like I'm super judgy when I go to places. I'm like, yo, can I see your drink back? And I'm like, oh, you have a Tito's Mule and an espresso martini on your drink list, dude.
Yeah,
you mean
like
things that people are just gonna order anyway? Like,
but and you know what's so funny about you saying that is I've told so many different people that like don't put a house margarita on your menu.
What?
Why?
What?
People are gonna order a margarita anyways.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense.
Pick some shit that you have a huge markup on, or that you did your rep a favor on and brought into, or something that the manager before you brought in that you're sitting on that's never gonna move. Like you have an espresso martini and a Tito's and fucking soda on your drink menu. You're like, what are we talking? And it was just funny. So like again, listening to your most recent episode on my way up here with Ian and Maddie Ice, guys who are not into industry and just hearing them like. It's not like he's wrong about anything or how he feels, but it's just you're not in that world. Like you just look at it differently.
Yeah.
Like maybe you look at a menu, I'm just using him as an example just from his conversation with you, and you see an espresso, like, oh, espresso martini's on the menu, I'm going to try that. But like, 90% of the people are going to order a espresso fucking martini anyway. So like why are you going to put that on your menu, dude?
It doesn't make sense.
Your menu is your chance to flex. So you be creative. And you've got a fucking Mai Tai, dude?
Yeah.
Like, all right. Like,
but just, and it's one of those things. It's funny, too. Like, I get to talk to a lot of bartenders, and I get to talk to a lot of servers, and, like, a lot of people in the industry, which is awesome. Like, every restaurant does things a little differently. And I think that that's something that people don't really recognize. Like, if you see a clip and I'm ranting about something that happens at my restaurant specifically, and it doesn't happen to yours, our restaurants aren't the same, and that's okay. Yeah. Like, every restaurant has its niche, right? But, like, I'm talking about something super specific sometimes, and, like, people are like, no, that's not how it is. Like, everyone should be able to make that drink. All right, well, like, I do small batch, and, like, you do mainstream, and that's fine. But, like, it's just different. It just doesn't translate. And, like, when they were talking about how, like, when the boys were talking about how, like, I'm like, I come all the time, like, whatever. And I'm like, listen. Yes, you do come all the time. But there's 3 other people at the bar that have never been here before that you have the chance to wow. Aren't you going to want to wow those people instead of going to the person that has been here 15 times this past month? And
regulars are like such a like, you love your regulars, but they're also like, they get so comfortable. You hate your regulars.
Yeah.
Like, so on. So we're going to double back here. We're going to product place again.
Go.
You talk about small batch versus what people do. The most generic shot. What do you think the biggest mixed shot in America is?
Green tea.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
So the green tea traditionally is Irish whiskey, sour mix. A lot of peach tree. A lot of talk on whether it's ginger ale, soda water, Sprite, whatever. But usually a soda. But that's kind of been eliminated because so many places will batch it in like 5 gallons at a time, and you can't put anything carbonated in it. So it's really just come down to Peachtree, Irish whiskey, and sour mix. But to control your cost on that, you might have one bartender who's putting in a whole bottle of whiskey, one who's putting in half, whatever. I have some friends from Ireland who sent me this beautiful bottle of Werewolf pre-batched green tea, ready to go.
Ooh!
So you have consistency. It's going to taste the same every time. Your cost stays the same. So we're going to crack open this green tea from Ireland, Werewolf. We own the night. Werewolf Irish green tea shot. This is our next sample that we're going to try.
Just so everyone knows, too, it's noon on a Monday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. And not only is it noon on a Monday, I live 2 hours away. I normally wake up at noon on a Monday. I set my alarm for 9:45, roll it up. This drink, actually, these are the first 3 things I've had today. I haven't even had water. Yo, can I also just say I'm not as pale or fat as I look on your screen right now?
No, on the camera, I promise it looks different. I look super white right now, too.
Horrible right now. I'm jacked as fuck, bro. So.
No, I've adjusted the lighting, I promise.
Okay.
Cheers.
Is there a Brazil, like in Ireland it would be a slancha. Is there a Brazilian toast?
Saúde.
Saúde?
Yep.
You sounded very Brazilian there.
Wow.
Easy, right?
Easy.
But you don't have to batch it up. You keep it cold, rip it out, pull it. That way you're not fucking making up barrels and barrels of green tea. You can control your costs. I think it's a pretty cool thing. And it's super cheap. And they were, like I said, they were kind enough to send this to me. And again, I'm like, oh, you're going to send me something cool? Let me debut it somewhere cool. And who's cooler than you?
Yeah.
Who's cooler than you?
No one.
Nobody.
Actually, like, this brings up a good point, too. So what I've realized is, like, I have a lot of friends that aren't in the industry.
Yeah.
And, we're friends with who we're friends with. And that's okay. Maybe
I
wish.
Losers, that's fine.
Yeah. No, I love you guys. I promise. But like, it's so funny because a lot of my friends, like, when we're hanging out and stuff, and maybe I'm just scarred from being in the restaurant all the time, but we hang out at home. So, like, we'll do, like, little cocktail parties and stuff, but they're usually really simple stuff. I feel like now, as the world is kind of, everything's getting more expensive and, like, whatever, a lot more people are drinking at home as opposed to a restaurant. This is, like, the perfect thing to have for a girls' night. At home.
The tequila I'm going to take because this is new to me, but I will leave you with this bottle of green tea that you can share.
Oh, you're such a good man.
At home with your people or with your guests.
I will.
But yeah, I think COVID changed a lot of that, right? Like the people who turned you'd like to say 21, but who are people, whatever the age they are, they started drinking, they turned it at home versus like sneaking into bars or illegally going into bars, hopefully, whatever the fuck, you know? So it's, I think that's changed a lot, and I'm interested to see where the industry goes. Cause I saw a post like on LinkedIn the other day, dude. I don't know if you know if you're on LinkedIn or this is for old people, but like it was like a guy talking about the general consensus is like, oh, drinking is down. And this guy was like, no, drinking isn't down. People are choosing non-alcoholic versions. I'm like, well, that still means drinking is down. That's not drinking, it's non-alcoholic. But it's a different thing of what if you're marketing a brand, if you're in the hospitality industry, you better have some cool mocktails or you better have some cool NA like once upon a time you could have just O'Doul's and that would be your NA, but like, yo, people want like a variety of, so you have like brands like, I have friends who work for Sam Adams and they have a thing called Just a Haze. It's an IPA, but it's non-alcoholic. People want, you know, non-alcoholic versions of cool drinks.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know what's so funny? So I turned 21 during COVID.
Yeah.
And
perfect.
yeah. So I mean, like I was drinking way before then. Sorry, Mom. Yeah, sorry, Mom. But like it was funny because right after COVID, when things started opening up and we were opening up the restaurant again, and my boss is the one that saw it, and like, not that he's an old man, but like he's way older than me, you know? So he's like, oh, we're gonna make a mocktail menu. And we made this mocktail menu. I started managing a couple years after, whatever. And like we're doing numbers, we're looking through the stats and stuff. And so basically what we did with our mocktail menu is we made it like, they're called like prohibition drinks, right? Yep. So that non-alc, whatever. So they're called prohibition, but you can break prohibition by adding a shot of whatever you want.
Sick.
Dude, you know what our number one cocktail in that restaurant was?
What?
One of our prohibition drinks. Breaking prohibition, though. Maybe we had a lot of degenerates at the restaurant too.
That's really fun. So, like, when it comes to industry, like, you got to give people a reason to go out. You got to give people a reason to choose your venue. You got to give people a reason to drink. That is super cool. Like, that's really fun. Like, I would go to a place, I would think that was really fun.
Yeah.
So, like, the seasonal place I used to run, right? While I was running this, my longtime ex, she worked at a different seasonal place in Westerly, Rhode Island. And for, like, the month of July, every Friday they did like a holiday where like just to be funny, like it was really just the staff like dressed up like Christmas or St. Patrick's Day or whatever. But I took that idea that she gave me like, and I did these huge parties at my place. So we opened in May. So Memorial Day weekend, I would do New Year's Eve. We would do a ball drop. We would do a countdown. Blah, blah, blah. I would do all the holidays we were closed from. The next month, I would do Mardi Gras. The next month, I would do, Christmas in July.
That's sick.
I would do St. Patrick's Day. And this is like outside on the patio. I'd be like, yo, the worst part of St. Patrick's Day is fucking cold in March. Like we would do it in August. And we would get massive turnout. People would dress in green, or St. Patrick's Day or Christmas in July. They dress in red. You give people a reason to participate in what you're doing. Give people a reason to check out your fucking cocktail. All the things that you're saying. Like don't just have a fucking list. Like give people a reason to participate or be interested or have their own. Like you said, you have this prohibition cocktail. You can make it non-prohibition. Let me choose. Like, yo, I have this, like, whatever. Like, I obviously have no idea what the menu is, but like, we'll just say like some kind of tea. I could put a whiskey in that. I could put a tequila in that. I could do my own kind of thing. Like, give people a reason to be interested in your venue. Be like, oh, we have a DJ and $2 Bud Light drafts. Cool. So does every fucking other bar.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and I see these people open up. Like, oh, we have a DJ tonight and $5 well drinks. Cool. So does fucking everybody else, dude. Do something to make people go to your venue. Give people an Instagrammable moment. Give people an option of being creative, like choose their outfit or their cocktail. Like, like give people a reason.
You know what one of my ideas was when we were opening up the brunch venue? Like I didn't end up doing it, but it's still, I still think it's a really cool idea.
Yep.
But we talked about doing like a brunch passport. So like every weekend in the summer, we do a different country. So you get like stamps, and then like at the end of the season, whatever, you get something for doing it.
Sick.
I wanted to do it so bad. I have like all the plans for it, and then I'm out of the restaurant industry now. But
I haven't found the way to really work this out. But my ideal like restaurant / bar business model would be somehow like copy like the Planet Fitness model, right? So it's like $10 a month, $20 a month, and I think the numbers are 67% of the people who pay go less than once a month, and like 59% never go. So if you could be like, yo, fucking sign up. We're gonna charge you $20 a month, but you can come get like whatever, a free entree or a free like something where you're just reoccurring billing people who aren't gonna show up. Like
Yeah.
if you could somehow figure the Planet Fitness model into the bar model, I think that would be dope. Like
That'd be sick.
right? Like you make it an exclusive thing. Like yo, I'm gonna charge you $20 a month, but you get like a filet mignon every month, right? Which is something is more than the $20, but like a certain like probably a majority of the people will do that the first month, and the second month, like, I didn't get there. Like there's got to be a way to take that model into getting money for nothing into the restaurant industry. That's my goal in life, is to somehow find some way to tell people to do that.
No, that's fucking sick. That's a great idea too. I mean, like, you know how many subscriptions that I have that I just do not attend?
Right. So how does the food and beverage industry, like whether maybe it's a nightclub and it's fucking like cover charge, right?
Yeah.
So like let's say like your cover charge is $20. But for $15 a month, you don't pay cover charge. But like you're not gonna go every month, all right? Like I don't know. Like there's got to be a way to work the subscription model into the because that's what life is all about, right? Like the fucking Uber fucked up the taxi world. Airbnb fucked up. I heard all the Airbnb stories. They fucked up the fucking hotel world. There's got to be a way to do that to the food and beverage industry where you're just juicing people for money they're never going to spend.
Yeah.
And then the people who do spend it, you take great care of them.
Absolutely.
You know?
But it's an untapped market. And I think that that's like the thing that makes you different and that sets you apart from other places. You know what I mean? I think that like in this area, I mean, like we're in Danbury, we're in Bumble, or I guess we're in Richfield, but we're in the Boonks. Like we're in the middle of nowhere around here. I don't know if you noticed driving up.
Well, I noticed, so real quick, like, but I saw Danbury, like, to me, is like akin to New York. So when I come back from New York, that's where I hit traffic, is Danbury. So I figured this was going to be like way different than the fucking 20 minutes it took me to go for 3.1 miles down this road.
No, but Richfield's very different in that way. And I feel like what you need to do is like, and I had an interview with people that lived in California for a little bit, and they brought a model from California here, and it fucking hit. Like it worked, right? Like that whole healthy smoothies, like healthy, like acai bowls, like whatever. It works because nobody else is doing it. I feel like as soon as you start doing like, and that was like, let me not even get so far off the train of thought, but like,
no, fucking jump off the train.
As soon as
let's go. I give you permission. This is my podcast now.
But as soon as like you do something a little different that people aren't used to, like not a lot of people get to travel. You know, like I went to Spain and I learned how to like do certain things. And then I come here and I'm like, no, we have to do it this way, right? Like tapas are huge down there. If someone did tapas and did tapas right, they would. I
can't tell you how many times I've had this conversation. Tapas is the shit, dude.
It's the way people should be eating.
Like how many times you just go out with friends and like yo, fuck that. Like let's just all get a bunch of shit and
split it. It's the way people should be eating. It's the overconsumption that America is used to. That they're not. They're like, oh, like I want a pizza. Okay, but I want a pasta. All right, but then why don't you guys split both?
Right, but
it's the way to do it, man.
Well, I'll tell you, like, yo, so my first time in Ireland partying, right? I don't know if it's like this in Spain, but it blew my mind. Like, yo, say like, yo, like, hey, I want a whiskey ginger, dude. And they're giving you a glass with some ice and whiskey in it, and then like a little bottle of ginger ale. So am I working here? Like they don't make the drink. Like you have to make the drinks yourself. Like unless it's like a cocktail from their menu. If you order like a vodka soda, dude, you're getting a glass with vodka and a little bottle of fucking soda water. And I was like, this is the strangest fucking thing. But then seeing I was in this after fights one night. We're in Dublin. And it was Bellator MMA fights, and we go to the after party. And there's a huge crowd, and the line is just moving so slow because there's no tips. They don't give a fuck, dude. And I'm like, yo, I would be losing my mind if this is my bar. But nobody's tips, so they don't care. So when you have these people, you see like on social media, right? You'll see a lot of times, like people like, oh, why tipping? Why are we tipping? Tipping is blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. Go to Ireland. Go to a country where there isn't tipping. The bartender's just like a McDonald's employee, dude. They're fucking. I don't care. There's 700 people there. Let me just do my little fucking thing. There you go. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I would fire all of you, dude. Like, but there's no tips. So they don't give a fuck, and they don't even care. Like one place I went, I threw the guy a big tip, and he like came back, like got my drinks early, like Maddie was talking about too. Like yo, like he went to Avalon, you give a big tip, and they look out for you. But in general, like you give them a tip, and they're just like, "What, dude? Like, keep your fucking change." I
don't fucking need that shit.
Right. But it's just such a culture shock, you know. If they're not like, and I would get great service places, and they're really nice to you and shit. But if you can tell, like, they don't care about the tip. Like sometimes I go to a restaurant, like Conor. So Conor has a restaurant, right? and it's the Black Forge Inn in Dublin. It's amazing, the best steak I've ever had in my life, legit. But like if you go there, like I went for my birthday a couple years ago, ran up a huge tab, and then they're like, oh, they come over to the table with the thing, you hit your card, and they have you sign it. I'm like, yo, where do I tip? They're like, oh, you have to tell us ahead of time if you're gonna tip. Like you can't even leave them a tip. Like it's just not a part of what happens there.
Yeah.
But in restaurant service, probably not as much, but bar service, huge difference.
Yeah.
Huge.
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 But you know what's funny to me too is that like I agree with you, right? That they have like a different way of doing it, but I think that people from that area are just accustomed to it. And I think that, I mean, like the New England, right? Like we're just on that New York state of mind where we're just so fast. Like we move so fast with everything. Like you just got to go, 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 go.
Mm-hmm.
So we're so used to that. Once you go to a place that like really makes you slow down like that, it's so weird. I went to a brunch place when we were in Spain.
Yeah.
And there was a line out the door. And then I asked the girls, like, hey, like, how long, like, till we get in, whatever. She's like, about an hour and a half. I said, there's people waiting out here for waiting an hour and a half. She's like, yeah, they're really good pancakes. So slow. Guess who waited an hour and a half? Me. Guess who didn't regret it? Me.
So America is different in a whole, for sure. The tipping culture versus not tipping culture. But even the Northeast where we live at a different pace, right? Mm-hmm. So kind of like when I look, like my first time's going into the South, like to, like North Carolina and shit, right? Like I'll be the first person to be like, oh, customer service kind of sucks everywhere. Everybody sucks. I'm in the gas. I was driving to Myrtle Beach and I stopped in South Carolina and I'm at the gas station and the guy working at the counter is talking to everybody like, oh, how's your day going? What are you up to? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yo, let me just get my fucking monster and let me fucking go. But I'm like, oh no, this guy's just being nice and talking to people. And it's so I feel like the West Coast kind of has the better, like kind of the mix of the two where people are kind of like, hey, what's up, dude? Like a little bit more chill back, but also like make shit happen. But like in the Northeast, we're just so used to like go, 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 go. And then you go down to fucking to Florida or is it the Carolinas and you're like trying to just like, yo, let me get 40 on pump 5. And like, all right, cool. Hey, where are you from? What are you up to? I'm like, motherfucker, what are you interrogating me for?
Yeah. What do you want to know for?
Yeah. It's just different. And I feel like the West Coast has a kind of mix up. But like Ireland, it's just different. Like if you're in a cab in Ireland and you get like an actual Irish cab driver, they're just gonna be like, yeah, where are you from? Like, oh, America. They're like, yeah, motherfucker, clearly. But like where? Like, oh, Connecticut. Like, oh, my third cousin once moved to fucking New Haven for pizza, whatever the fuck, But it's like, it's such a different lifestyle, But like really the industry, and the restaurant, not like service, not sort of the bar industry, just way different. Yeah. Way, way different.
I mean, especially like the divier you go, right? Yeah. Because like, I mean, we have fast nights too. Like on a Friday, Saturday night after like 11 p.m., you're just go, go, go. So people are ordering cocktails, but it's like, I'm not making you more. If it costs more ingredients than a margarita, I'm not making it.
No, but you're slanging though.
You're slanging. Exactly. Like you're just quick.
These guys, there's no tip involved. They don't get every single drink. It's like you were the only person in the bar, which in theory, you're like, oh, that sounds great. Except like, yo, I got a whole crew over here, dude. I need fucking 5 tequila Red Bulls. And they're like, all right, well, okay, but. Well,
Well, I don't know if you noticed this too, but in a lot of Europe, like it literally costs more to drink water than it costs to drink alcohol.
I haven't noticed that.
No? Yeah, maybe in Ireland it's not so much.
Or maybe I just don't drink enough water.
Yeah.
What? You want another shot? Okay.
Absolutely.
Letitia, listen, if you're going to beg me, Letitia, if you're going to beg me for another shot of tequila, there's another talisman tequila from Tristan Tate and my boy Gabriel in Italy, I'm going to give it to you. Like,
no, you know what? This is really good.
I don't want another one, but if you're going to like sit there and cry about it, like, all right, I'll fucking do it, dude. But like, we're going to make it flash, dude.
Yes. Is it on camera? Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Cheers. So we're going to sláinte.
Sláinte. I didn't hit the table.
That's a newer thing. Like I say newer, maybe like in the last 10 years, but we didn't used to, like when I was younger, we didn't do that. And then like...
What, like the cheers?
We did cheers, but we didn't touch the table. But then I found like when I was running the bar and I'm in my 30s and these people are in their 20s, like, you didn't fucking do the thing. I'm like, oh, my bad, dude. I didn't know that was a thing.
You got to respect the bar.
You got to respect the bar.
Yeah, I love that. That is so funny. What's next for you?
So, ideally, this Forge thing plays out, but I don't know. Like, I've considered Man, like I just love this industry so much. Like whatever it is, it'll be somehow related to making sure people are having fun and getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm good at is like getting people fucked up and making sure they're having a great time. So
Yeah.
like just the other day, for example, I had a case of this in my car. I was at my friend's bar, Captain's Pub in Groton, Connecticut. My boy Tony works there, and this girl Crisula, who I'm friends with, she owns the place. And there was people in there, but it was kind of dead. And I'm like, yo, hey, I'm gonna give you a bottle of this, but like, let's give out a round of shots, right? All of a sudden, like there was a DJ. I'm like, yo, have the DJ call. There's free shots at the bar. Everybody comes out, has a shot, and all of a sudden, people are buying drinks, and the place is popping off. And they're like, I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, like, let's set this off. Sometimes you got to set it off.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to set it off, Letitia.
You do. You do. You know how many times like it'll be like a slow night, and then my boss is like, "Okay, everybody's post on their Instagrams that we're doing something."
Yo, that's important,
and it works.
Yo, but that's important too. Like your staff. The difference between a place that has a staff, that has people who are social media active versus not is huge. I've seen people try to get industry nights off or like whatever. Like, yo, your staff has to be in the circle, in the fucking world posting shit. You know what I mean? Like your bar posting something, unless you have like great social media, might not mean as much. But if like you're my bartender, like, oh, yo, I got this pretty girl, she's posting, hey, I'm here. It's a fucking Monday night, dude. Maybe I'm sitting home like, oh fuck, dude, she's hot, dude. I'll have a drink. You know what I mean? Like it's important. Your staff's social media for sure.
And what we used to always do too, and like especially when I had just started bartending, like it was bigger back then. But what we would do is like each one of us would post a different thing. Like one would be like a boomerang of us like taking shots before work, and like another one would be just like a selfie and just like things like that. All of us would post different things and then like tag like this is where we're gonna be at. Yeah. Dude, it used to go crazy.
So hey, I don't know if you're trying to wrap this up, but can I tell you another story real quick?
No, tell me as many stories as you want.
All right, well, don't say that because I got stories. So the bar that I was telling you about, my first bar that I got for free, I will go to war. I think I invented social media for bars.
Okay.
All right, so I was like heavy into going out, party scene, bar, nightclub. I'm gonna age myself here. When I bought this place, 2004. Okay.
Okay.
The social media platform that was the shit was MySpace. Do you know what MySpace is?
I do know what MySpace is. Never had one.
No, of course you didn't, but you've heard of it, right?
Yeah.
So I bought this place in the end of 2004. We opened in 2005. But what I spent like 3 months doing was I created a MySpace for the bar. Keep in mind, places didn't have I don't want to say I'm the only place in the world or the country, but like people around me, they didn't have social media for their bars. So I created, and you could search on MySpace. Like they let you search like really specific things. So you could be like, yo, show me girls within 15 miles who are single and of the age. It was like a half dating app, half social media app. So I would go and add all the hottest girls I could find within 25 miles and all the nerdiest guys I could find within 25 miles. And like I started interacting with them from the bar, like, yo, you gotta come check us out. And it worked. So then I would bring a disposable Kodak camera on a Friday, Saturday night, whatever I had going on, drop it off at Walmart at like 3 a.m, go pick it up the next day. I'm scanning these pictures in and putting them on our MySpace. People are seeing pictures of themselves. And then I would print them out and I'd post them all over the bar. That shit didn't exist in the world. Like maybe it have existed somewhere else, like other people had the same idea. It wasn't commonplace for businesses to have social media. And I was like way ahead on like, this is going to be the fucking thing. People want to see themselves. So like, I don't remember what you said because I've had 4 drinks now and no food that made me go off on this tangent. But what I'm telling you is I invented social media for bars.
Yeah. But it works.
Argue with yourself.
Argue with yourself. No, it works though. Like I remember there was one time in like, this is before I started like really editing videos and stuff. Like what I used to do when I was younger is like I would go on like iMovie and I would like put together on my Snapchat memories or on my phone memories and like of a compilation of everything that we went through during the year, right? So like me and my friends on New Year's, like I had this core group of friends that we spent every New Year's together and we would watch these videos, the ball would drop and it would be this fun, exciting thing. Yeah. So I remember I was like, maybe we can kind of incorporate that some way into the bar. So like every time we have a party, we have like a montage of like pictures and stuff like that. And every single time someone would see their picture, story. Someone would see their picture, story. Right. And it would get so much more reach. Like it would be the difference of like one post getting like 1,000 versus like 100. It was crazy.
So do you know Stony Creek Brewery?
No.
They're in Connecticut. I'm not like a craft beer person. It's not my thing. But in my bar that I had on the waterfront bar, the girls' bathroom, somebody like kicked the stall. The stall was all fucked up, right? So the logo for the Stony Creek Brewery is like a bird with two wings, like kind of like a Nashville thing. So I was like, yo, I will put your beer on draft. I want you to come in and redo my stall. I want a photo op of wings. So and then it blew up. Every girl wanted to take picture with the wings behind them.
Yeah.
And they get people to market for you. Is just what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Like,
That's the way to do
give them an
it.
Instagrammable moment. Like when I see, like there's a chain of places in Rhode Island and they have like the gnarliest social media because they do every trend that you see on TikTok that's popular, they're on it. Whether it's like the Nicki Minaj, What's Going On, Four Blonde Blonde song, they have like whatever like the thing is, they do it. You know what I mean? And they have a social media girl who's really dope. And I try to tell their owner all the time, like, yo, don't get rid of this girl, because I work with a lot of major venues and shit that don't have social media like this. This is like, fuck your DJ flyer that you spend like crapped in some fucking guy. Like, no, dude, fucking have two of your pretty girl blog trying to singing "I Bees in the Trap," dude. You're like, it's way cooler, dude.
Yeah, and it hits. Like, it's one of those things that it's so easy, and I think that like, I feel like social media is kind of transitioning into a point where it's like the overdoing of it all is almost not a turn off, like, but it's almost too much. Where like those simple things, like I'll see a TikTok like the Bees in the Trap, right? I'll see a TikTok that has like 2 million likes on it. I don't even know how many views, like 10 million views. Those hit so much harder. It's relatable.
Yeah. Yes, it's so important, man. If so many people don't get social media in this industry, like even places that are super successful, it's like, no, you could be way more successful. You don't understand.
If it hit.
Like, oh no, I have a Facebook, dude. I posted. We're open to like, no, motherfucker, dude.
That's
like
that's
not it.
Yeah.
Like, what was your first drink when you were 21? Do you know?
My first drink, I mean, like I was drinking way before 21. That's the problem.
What was your go-to?
My go-to was Malibu Bay Breeze.
Okay.
Like so bad, but then I transitioned into.
What's your go-to now?
My go-to now is tequila ginger ale.
Tequila ginger ale.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know. Every time I order them, some people will look at me like, okay. Okay. That's my thing though. I love ginger ale.
Again, we're talking about flavors and how things go together. That's fine. Yo, so before I was 21, when I started going out, I don't even know how this came up to be, but somehow the first drink and the only drink I knew how to order was a fucking Midori sour.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I'd be walking around the club or the bar with this bright green drink. You'd be like, what are that? You know, and I had no idea that I was drinking like something ridiculous. You know, like it was just.
But it's one of those drinks, you know? It's like when people. Like, I'm trying to think of like an old classic that people like don't really drink anymore, like Cosmos. Yeah. Like when I get a Cosmo, I'm like, okay. Yeah. Sure. I'll make you a Cosmo, no problem. But like, it's one of those things where like people don't really drink them anymore. Like you hear vodka martini and you get espresso martini.
Right. But like a Midori sour is just a glass of sugar. Yeah. Barely any alcohol in it. The Midori has like nothing in it. But like, it's just somehow I learned that drink, so I ordered it and it looked cool. I remember I used to get like my face used to get all flushed, dude. I think it was just from like the fucking 7,000 grams of sugar that was in this thing. And then like we would always dress up in suits and shit when we went out. And then we learned about Pinot Grigio. But like I didn't even know. So we'd go like get bottles of like Pinot, but we didn't even know how to order it. So every fifth time, somehow we'd end up with Pinot Noir. Yeah. And I didn't even know what the difference. We're just like, I'm 19. I'm like, all right, we'll just take this. I'm like, oh, I hate this. You know, it's warm. I don't like this. You know, like.
No, but it's like there was one time. It's so funny like how people order too, because some people just think like this is like one of the first few things that I learned. But like that. 99% of vodkas are gluten-free.
Yeah. No, for sure. And then Tito's, for sure. Because I had 3 olives was one of my portfolio at Proper 12 under Proximo. Yeah. And like all of our flavors were gluten-free,
Gluten-free.
Right? Yeah.
So people will order it. They'll be like, no, I can only have Tito's. Yeah. And at the time, like we were super small batch. Now we've kind of extended the portfolio a little bit, but we were super small batch. So someone was like, no, you guys don't have Tito's. I can only drink gluten-free vodka. And then I said, okay, so we have like 5 different vodkas and they're all gluten-free. So like, which one do you want?
No, they pay for the label. Mm-hmm. Like you can pay for like the process of any spirit makes it gluten free. 99% whiskey is tequila. They're almost all gluten free. Like there's some, I don't want to say that all, but like the distillation process makes everything gluten free.
Everything gluten free.
But it's like they hung on to that and they caught it at the right time and they made that their fucking thing.
And it's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy. And like it was always so funny to me when someone would order it and like I'm like this 20-year-old behind the bar and I'm like, okay, so like all of them are gluten free. Like you pick your poison.
Yeah, and they think you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, no, and it's so
dude,
funny.
I got no patience for these people anyway though, because they're like, yo, does this have like, yo, if I was allergic to something, I would know. Is it you're just being high maintenance?
Yeah.
Like you're just like, are the fries gluten free, dude? Is this like, yo, you're not allergic then, like because you're not fucking. I'm not allergic to anything, but if I was allergic to something, I would know what I can have. You're just
exactly.
You just want to ask the server something extra, dude. Like
you just want to be like that person at the table, and it's fine.
The Karen, like you, dude.
Exactly, bro. Oh yeah, I am the Karen, and I don't care. It's one of those things. Like I'm a Karen in a different way, though. I heard someone told me though, I'm not the Karen. I'm the Jessica.
Okay, what's the difference?
The Karen is the one that's gonna be like, oh, but like, I don't care if it doesn't say gluten free. It's not gluten free, right? Mm-hmm. And like, screw you guys for not having gluten free vodka. But the Jessica's like, well, actually, if you do this, it's 0.01 gluten. So I'm the Jessica, and it's okay.
Like I just always be like, this job would be great if it wasn't for the customers. You know?
No, it really is though, and like that's what people don't realize. Like we were talking about earlier, where the customer is wrong sometimes, and it's one of those things. Like you have to kind of find that fine line of not mentoring them. I was a 20-year-old girl trying to teach people about alcohol at the bar. I'm not even old enough to buy alcohol.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things. Like I learned this, and like I know this, and you clearly don't.
This statement has been beaten to death, but everyone should have to work a year in the service industry. Like because it ages you because you learn, you see so many things, you see how people act, you learn like. You learn the fucking world.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a different thing. You know what I mean?
And it's so funny. So like I was talking to someone on LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn.
Oh, there we go.
I do have a LinkedIn. But I was talking to someone on LinkedIn that wanted me to manage the restaurant. And it was one of those things where I was kind of in between, like, should I just go back to the industry or should I not?
Yeah.
But I was talking to someone and I was telling them that what were we talking about before?
Karen's being 20, having to work in the service industry, you being a Jessica. Where you pick your poison.
Dude, I had something so good to say. She gone. I had something so good to say. Whatever. I lost it. It'll come back. Fuck. That's embarrassing.
That's adorable. I love that.
Are you sure? I like literally. I can't fucking formulate a train of thought. It's fine.
Yo, this is the secret behind the sips right now.
This is the secret behind the sips.
Dude, the secret is she can't handle her alcohol.
Guys, the tequila hit. It's one of those things though. No, but I mean working in the service. Oh, that's what we were talking about. I got it. You see, I got it.
She's back.
I'm back. So the thing is that like we were talking and she was like, you know, like you'd be great for this role. And it was something completely different. It was like a management role, but in something a lot more corporate, right? Yeah. So I was like, I mean, like, I don't have any experience in this. And she was like, you know, like I've served, I've bartended, I've done the whole hospitality thing. I think that people undermine a server or undermine a bartender a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that you're capable of so much more coming from one of those positions. Like you handle like a little bit of every aspect of every career ever, you know, like you handle every type of person. And I think that, I don't know, it's one of those things that like people underestimate a lot of service people.
No, because if you're a good server, even a decent server, you got to be quick on your feet. You got to be able to react to all the different situations, high maintenance customers. Fuck it. Like we were talking about, hey, listen, we were talking about servers having bad days being to work. Sometimes as a manager, just sometimes I come in, I'm just a dick, right? Like, so then you gotta deal with me and like what I expect. Like, it's not an easy position, and it doesn't work the opposite way. So like, I would have like, yo, hey, I'm a nurse, but I want to make a little extra money. Can I? I'm like, no, dude. You like, well, I deal with this, blah blah. I can serve tables. I'm like, no, you can't. Like, no, you can't, dude.
But that was always my first question when I was hiring people too, is like, have you ever worked in a restaurant? Yeah. If you've never worked at a restaurant, you can start as a busser or a host, but you cannot start on the floor.
And you have people coming from these like higher end, what they consider higher end jobs. Like I said, like the medical field, like nurses and shit. And like, hey, I'd like to make a couple extra $100 a week. I have Fridays available. Can I do this? I'm like, nah. No. Like, Like, I don't have time to teach you micros. Like,
Yeah.
never mind the
Micros
rest.
was the first POS I was ever on.
Yeah, like, I don't, like, regardless, I don't have time to teach you this shit.
No.
And I know that you've been to college and you haven't, like, you think that you know all this shit. Like, I promise you, your average waitress is more street smart, savvy, and gangster than you could ever possibly figure out to be. Dude.
Yeah. No, but it's true, you
Yeah.
know? I don't know. Like it's one of those things, like I'm so thankful that was my gateway. Like you did I don't know if I told you like how I got into it.
No, what's up? What's your origin story, Batman?
My origin story is so basically I got a job. Even my parents were super against it. I had brothers older. They were pieces of shit when they were younger, but I have 3 older brothers and I was the only one that worked in the restaurant. But basically what happened was one night I was just 16. I had just gotten my license, and me and my cousin snuck out of the house. He was sleeping over. We snuck out of the house to go to a party. And so we're going to this party, and I'm driving really slow down this road, and there was these cars that were parallel, like parked on the road, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?" There's like a lot of people on this like really like low key road. Well, they were street racing, but there was someone that was parallel parked right next to where my car was, and I was going down like 10 miles per hour. But the guy rammed into the side of my car trying to get out of there because they were like, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
I had like a fucking little black car at the time. They were like, okay, this is a cop. Let's get the fuck out of here. So rammed into my car and then dipped.
Officer Letitia.
So no, literally. So my car is rolling, whatever. My car is destroyed at that point. I had just gotten it, and I'm like, what the fuck? So my parents are divorced. So we call the cops. Cops call my parents, call my mom, my stepdad, my dad, my stepmom. The 4 of them pull up to the scene, like right around the same time. And my dad was a mechanic as a hobby. Like what he would do is he would flip cars. So he would buy cars from like the junkyard and stuff and flip them and sell them. And that's what he was doing at the time. So he looked at the car and he's like, yeah, this is like $5,000 in damages. And you know who's not paying for it? Me. And my mom's like, you know who's not paying for it either? Me. You're paying for it. So I'm like, okay, fuck. So my job at Chipotle is not going to cut it.
Yeah.
And I have to fucking pay for this. So cool. I'm like talking to my friends at lunch one day at school, and they're like, well, we're looking for a busser at my job. Like, do you want to start working there? So I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, I make tips? Like, this seems like the perfect schedule. I work weekends and that's it. So I started working there and stuff, and you start getting that money and it changes things.
Yeah, I mean, dude, how many people do you know? I'm sure plenty, because I know plenty, who like had like a serving job through college and then just stayed and never did their college thing. Like never did what they had a degree in. They just stayed, dude.
Me.
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah.
I started working at I became a medical assistant. I got my medical assisting license my sophomore year, what would have been like the beginning of my junior year of college. So like I got my medical assisting my course, and then I worked at an orthopedics office, which was so fun. But it was one of those things like I was making at the time was great, 18 an hour, and I'm like, but I'm on my feet the whole time and people are fucking exhausting, and I'm trying to be like as positive as I can the whole entire time, and I'm not even making tips off of it.
Right.
And it was one of those things like I was working on the weekends to supplement my income. And I was like, but I could just work there 2 extra days and make my whole income and have 3 days off a week. It makes more sense.
Right. You think you make $18 an hour, but you have one table with $100 tab and you got $20.
And $20 right there. It almost didn't make sense to work at the orthopedics office. Yeah. I was 20 grand in debt from that course, and I was like, you know what? I'll make it back. Fuck it. And I went back, and I don't regret it at all. But it's one of those things that it almost didn't make sense for me to have even taken on that burden of what classes were like and what the debt was and everything.
Yeah, I mean, so my ex's daughter, who I'm content to call my daughter, I raised her. She recently graduated high school, and she got herself like a big girl job and shit. But she's been serving for the last 2 years. And I'm like, yo, you have that in your back pocket forever. Like, you can like go like do this whenever you want now because you have done this. If you hadn't done this before and then you just went and got this drafting job that you're going to do, like if you needed extra money, what are you going to do? But now you've got years of high volume serving. You can just go grab a fucking Friday once a month and make $300-$400. You can make your car payment, whatever. Like, you know, like it's such a great skill to have because in an emergency, you can find a job.
Yeah.
And you can make money.
It's like the best job in the world, but it comes with its cons. But honestly, like that's like one of the
Those are the secrets. Not
those
the
are the
sips.
secrets. Those are the secrets with our sips. But listen, thank you so much for coming. This was such a fun episode.
Oh, I'm glad you had a good time. I had a good time. I'm not like, looking on camera, dude, because I don't look like this. But
Yeah.
whatever.
I'll fix it.
Other than that, dude. Other than that, this is fucking dope, dude. You're a great setup. You're a lot of fun. You know, I think you got a better podcast than this guy.
Yeah. One day. My last episode did good, so we'll see how it goes. But it's a lot of fun, and thank you so much for coming all the way.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, for sure.
Of course.
Sips and Secrets.
Tune in, guys.
All right.